Welcome to an unusual show from the AlleganyJournal.com. We have with us today Stephen Hayes and David Dick, two members of teams that are going to compete at the Cork Pork Festival this Saturday in Covington. And also with us is David Bryant of the city of Covington, we think, who dreamed this whole thing up. Welcome, fellas.
Thank you. Good morning.
BB, give the public a feel for some flavor of what Cork and Pork is all about.
Cork and Pork is two events in one. It first and foremost for the public is a fun festival that has free music, food for purchase that ranges from pulled pork and brisket to carnival type foods, Shriner donuts, pork skins, kettle corn, ices, specialty tacos, those types of things, food eating contests. If you want to pick up $50 for free movie tickets and a free hat from Nowhere Brewing, a local small brewery here, enter one of those contests. We still got vacancies. It'll involve large pizza from Coochie's, it's Lucas. And Marco has even threatened to enter the contest. We have 10 hot dogs, and then Casa de Leones, we've got a dozen tacos. The folks over on Main Street. So we have those contests. We have vendors ranging from antiques to specialty jewelry and crafts. All of it is centrally located. Monday night, have traditional bluegrass that involves, then into later Friday night, we have more modern bluegrass with Mountain Heart, Nashville recording artist. If you're familiar with Josh Schilling from his days in the Roanoke area, between those two groups, Friday night, wonderful bluegrass.
Lots going on, BB. Lots going on.
And it's free. That's all free. The food you can buy, that's for purchase. Then on Saturday, again, music all day, bouncy houses, all that for the children. Throughout the weekend, you're going to have Nowhere Brewing from Covington, Jack Mason's from Clifton Forge there, the local craft guys. We've got a couple of the wineries coming in. So you'll be able to have adult beverages, specialty children's beverages. All of that takes place in more of a pop type music on Saturday evening. We have local bands. We have Gypsy Nick's featured Saturday night, which is a Fleetwood Mac tribute type band. So all again. And in the feature, people always say, can I go buy and get, or can I buy what the teams cook? No, that's not possible. That's health department regulation. That's the separate part. There's but we have a lot of those teams that are gracious enough to cook pork butt just like they do their normal pork butts. We provide them to them. And those are created, it's pulled, sauced the way they choose to, and we'll have 15 different samplings for the public to show up. Minimal donation, whatever you care to give, whatever you can give. If you can't give, that's fine too. We want the public to participate. You'll get 15 cups. They'll be numbered on the bottom, 1 to 15. You have the difficult decision of picking which one you like best. And if we give you a card to vote on, and then we'll turn around and pay a cash prize to the team that gets the most votes and to the team that gets the second most votes. So that right there is the part where, yes, this came off the very same smokers. And it's not, you have to pay $5 or $10 to do this, show up. 2:15 it starts, and it'll be done by 3 o'clock. After 3 o'clock, we have to move on to other items such as tallying votes and at 3:30 the eating contest begin, and then you have a tremendous award ceremony that we have planned for 4 on Saturday afternoon.
BB, I don't have to ask any more questions. You've just done the roundup for it.
The sad part is I forgot a lot of it, probably.
Yeah, Stephen Hypes joins us from Blacksburg. And Stephen, we love the name of your pork team. It's called Still Working On It.
That's
All right.
correct.
Give us a little background. How did you decide you're going to learn how to cook pork barbecue, and when did you start it?
Well, we started back in 2014, and the running story of our name is we didn't have a name when we signed up for our first contest, and teammate Sean sent in the application, and under the team name, he just wrote "Still Working on It" because we hadn't decided on a name. And a week later on the website for that particular contest, they're listed under team names was "Still Working on It," and it's stuck ever since. And we embraced it, like BB was talking about earlier before the show. That we embraced the double meanings of some of the words and phrases, and then of course also the slogan itself. You're always still working on it, right? So got to compete a bit against guys like Dave here. You better be still working on it.
And Dave's next, and David Dick joins us from Gloucester. And Dave, you're pretty well known around here, not just as a character, but as an excellent cook. I remember in another competition, you dreamed up a dessert on the fly and won the contest. So your competitors are used to a guy of your quality. Welcome.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. I've done the campground competition over there at Dowdit that Ray Keene runs with the Dowdit Speed Group the last 2 years, and Covington and that general part of Virginia is probably one of my favorite areas. BB's contest was one of the first ones I ever judged as a competition judge, and then I've had the opportunity, like I said, to compete at the campground one the last 2 years. So I'm super excited. I'm actually probably after this call, I'm going to hit the road and head out there and get some dinner somewhere downtown Covington tonight. So,
well, your team is known as the Ham Squad. I guess that's pretty appropriate. But hey, guys, for individuals like the editor here, we don't know anything about pork. How tough is the competition? For example, if you go to a competition like Cork and Pork or another one across the state or in the region, do you ever examine your competitors and say, hey, I need to tweak mine? Or is yours an age-old recipe that is just consistent and it just hardly ever changes? How about you, Steve? Have you made any changes?
I would probably say Dave and I have the same thought here. I was studying the team list before we got on this call and thinking about how to approach the cook based on, and I'm not even exaggerating here, the best teams in the country are going to be here.
Wow.
So yeah, some things always remain consistent, I think, as far as your recipes go, such as your technique, your fuel, maybe your cook times, but a lot of things you're also going to tweak along the way, and being able to adjust is, well, it's part of the fun of it, but it's also definitely a big part of your strategy.
And how about you, Dave?
absolutely. Yeah, Steven's right. I've looked at the team list. This is one of the contests that in the world of competition barbecue, there's a lot of opportunities for us to go different places in the country. And Covington and specifically with BB, there's a reason that this competition has some of the best teams in the country. We have teams coming out of retirement that have won, world championships. We have teams that haven't cooked in a few years and they're coming back. We have teams that are the number one team in the country or number 3 team in the country coming to this contest. And the reason is BB. It's not the prize money. It's not the trophies. It's Covington too, because it's a really cool town and in the mountains, and having it downtown, it's really cool. But having a really good organizer really helps that. And I'll kind of get that out of the way, because when it comes to cooking, I don't change a lot, and Steve and I are both on the same page. We change maybe based off of how we do in a previous contest. We don't change a lot based off of who we're competing against or where we're competing. We just know that we now have to be a little bit more focused than we would at maybe a contest where we don't have, 5 of the top 10 teams in the country. So, it helps that we cook the same thing every weekend, as opposed to some of the other contests that I've done in the past where you find out what you're cooking on Friday night.
Well, Beanie, this is an honor to you and your organization. Here we are in the Allegheny Highlands of Virginia, not that easily accessible like, Raleigh or Richmond, some of the bigger cities. And yet having some of the top teams in the country, most folks in the Highlands, when we think of competition, we're thinking sports or whatever. To have a, recognized group of national champions, that's pretty darn impressive.
We're fortunate. We have a good support group here. Employees here at the city, they have a buy-in. This means something to them. They too are proud of our city. City management, city council are very supportive, because being rural sometimes, these are the ways we can sell our locality as a region. You never know when one of these competition barbecue teams is headed up or has a pit master that's a CEO for a Fortune 500 company. And so that may well be, and you want to do that because they say, hey, this is a great community. We see a good work ethic in people. People are friendly. And, I look at it as a good weekend for our local residents to come out, enjoy music, get food that you don't normally get, host a world-class competition barbecue event, possibly see someone that has been on TV or that's going to be on TV very soon. So that to me is very important. I enjoy it. Cindy and I this was started by Les Balgavy. And he was a school principal local here, up in Bath County. And he got a promotion, went to Northern Virginia. And after the Red Show, the big storm, I've met teams that says, yeah, that's the place where we had the tornado. No, we're never coming back there. Because we were out without power for 7 days here. So they said, are you doing this year? Well, just fortunately, Cindy and I were already certified judges. So we sort of got nominated. And the next thing you know, if you're going to run a contest, you have to become certified. And we, believe it or not, went down to Chesapeake, Virginia to be certified and contest organizers. And Jerry, they had mud about a foot deep there during that contest. And I guess it was sort of an omen for Cork and Pork because we've had a derecho. We've had catastrophe level flooding. We've had tropical storm Cindy. And I keep hesitating to look at the weather forecast. Friday looks great. Chance of thunderstorms Saturday, but it appears nothing catastrophic. So that's great. But without the public participation, Old Town Covington, the volunteers there, but because they're the organization that is the backbone of the Cork and Pork Festival.
Well, you're getting to one of my final questions I wanted to ask each of the guys. So you guys are experienced. You go to many shows. You don't have to come to Covington. You could be in Richmond or St. Louis. So to each of you, why is Covington a place that you're going to be at this weekend as opposed to Detroit or St. Louis? And Steve, I'd ask you first and then Dave. Why Covington? Why not somewhere else this weekend?
Well, Like I said, we started this in 2014, and Covington was our second contest. So there's a little bit of nostalgia factor just for us. But then on top of that, and I know Dave's going to say the same thing, it's as any other contest we come back to year after year. It's BB, it's Covington, it's the town itself, it's the warmth, the welcome we feel when we get there. It's how we feel when we leave, even after we take a beating. You know, it's just one you look forward to coming to, and I know it'll be on the schedule for next year. I already know that, and I haven't even gotten to the one this year. So that's thanks to the guys that run it and the organizers. And I know Dave. Now you have to think of something different to say.
Well, Dave, you're not used to taking a beating, but I mean, you're a very competitive guy. The little I know of you, so, but I mean, coming to Covington, that's, you know, everybody's glad to have both of you. So, why Covington and not New Orleans or Atlanta this weekend?
Well, I owed BB a favor. No, I'm just kidding. Again, this was one of the nostalgic contests for me. I've never actually been able to cook cork and pork. I've judged it twice, but I've never competed at it because I was a backyard cook until I moved into the Master Series. But I'm excited to, you know, be out in the mountains, be in the small town. Last time I was in that Covington area, I was at Dowdit, and I loved Penny's Diner over there near Love's. You know, I want to go back to that diner. I love the mountains of Virginia. I wish I could move back. So every opportunity that I have an opportunity to go out to the western part of the state, I take advantage of it. And a lot of my friends are going to be there. You know, like, yes, I could go to a contest, like you said, in Detroit or St. Louis or New Orleans. But I really do this so I could see my friends on the weekends and see the people that I enjoy hanging out with. And like Steven said, we might get our butts kicked, but at the end of the day, we're gonna call Steven on Sunday afternoon and be like, "Man, you beat me in chicken, but I got you in ribs," or whatever. So, and then we'll see each other the next weekend or the next contest. So I'm ecstatic. I'm excited to come back down to Covington this weekend.
Guys, thanks very much for taking the time to speak with us. We kind of got this together at the last minute, but everybody in the Highlands welcomes you, not just for your food, but for the friendship that we've seen all along. Thanks again, BB, for your time. And we'll see all of you in the public in Covington for the Cork and Pork Festival this weekend. Thanks again, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you.